The Satanic Verses, my friends. If you're not familiar with the story, I'll give you a brief idea. I actually have 37 sources reported, 37 Muslim sources reporting the Satanic Verses. For those of you Muslims out there who don't think that it ever happened, I have 37 sources giving various descriptions of the story. And what you find is that the earlier stories are very clear on what happened here, and then you see Muslims progressively watering the story down in later versions of the story. But let me give you the earliest version of the story. Muhammad was preaching in Mecca, and he really wanted his tribe to receive his message and convert to Islam, but they just wouldn't buy it. Because his main argument was, listen to my lovely Arabic verses, I must be a prophet, and people just weren't buying that. There were people in the same town who could match Muhammad's verses, and there was a man who would stand up right after Muhammad and start reciting verses and say, in what way is Muhammad's verse better than mine? Yeah. So this wasn't very persuasive to many people. And Muhammad, according to the story, longed for a revelation that would help his followers. That would help his tribe become his followers. And what happened was he eventually got the verse he was looking for. When Muhammad was receiving chapter 53 of the Quran, this is in Ibn Asaq, Muhammad was receiving chapter 53 of the Quran, here's how he put a passage. Have you not heard of Alat, Alusa, and Manat, the third, the other? These are the exalted cranes whose intercession is to be hoped for. Now, Sam, what are Alat, Alusa, and Manat?
In Arabic, they're called Banat Allah, the three daughters of Allah. They're considered pagan goddesses, whom the pagans would actually pray to and ask for their intercession to Allah.
So Muhammad receives a revelation referring to Alat, Alusa, and Manat, saying these are the exalted cranes whose intercession is to be hoped for. Cranes are birds that will intercede for you by carrying your prayers to Allah.
High
so what is Muhammad saying here? You pagans, you polytheists want to continue praying to Alat, Alusa, and Manat? That's okay with Allah. He says these goddesses will carry your prayers to Allah. So polytheism got Muhammad's stamp of approval. Well, Muhammad bowed down in honor of receiving this revelation. His followers bowed down, and the pagans bowed down too. They were overjoyed that Muhammad was promoting polytheistic worship in Mecca. But a little later, Muhammad came back and said, you know those verses I gave? The devil made me do it. And that's his story. That as he was receiving the true revelations of Surah 53, Satan stepped in and gave him the false revelation. And he just couldn't tell the difference between the revelation from God and a revelation from Satan until Gabriel came along later and informed him what he had done. Now, this is disturbing on multiple levels. From a Christian perspective, what's the Bible say? Deuteronomy 18:20. If a man speaks in the name of other gods and delivers a revelation that didn't actually come from God, he's a false prophet. Muslims claim to reverence Moses. If Muhammad had done this during the time of Moses, Moses would have told people to pick up stones and stone Muhammad to death for being a false prophet, for delivering a false revelation, promoting polytheism. But Muhammad was among pagans, and they were just overjoyed. But think about this. Muhammad couldn't tell the difference between a revelation from God and a revelation from Satan. And he has to go back, and his followers have to erase this verse from the Quran and insert the words that are in there today, because he delivered a passage that comes, not according to me, not according to Sam, according to Muhammad, a passage that comes from the devil. How do you deal with that? You're trusting a man with your salvation, Muslims, who could not tell the difference between a revelation from God and a revelation from the devil, who had to change his revelations and blame the devil for promoting polytheism. This is just wild, wild stuff.